Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for letting us know we had you until the end of the year to enjoy your musical abilities. Grateful for that. All right, and then if we can go to the next slide, we also have a very exciting class coming up called Once Upon a Tithe with Rick St. Charles. And Rick, did you want to come up and say something about that? Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I asked if anyone knew what the most important thing we were going to learn from with this class was, and the answer is you increase your faith in God. And that reminds me of one of my favorite jokes about faith. Of course it does. Two nuns who worked in a hospital were out driving in the country when they ran out of gas. As they were standing beside their car on the shoulder of the road, a truck approached them. Noticing the nuns in distress, the trucker stopped and offered to help. When the nuns explained they had run out of gas, the trucker said he would be more than happy to drain some from his tank, but he didn't have a bucket or a can. Hearing this, one of the nuns dug out a clean bedpan from the trunk and asked the trucker if that would do. He said it would, and proceeded to drain a couple of quarts into the pan. He then handed the pan to the sisters, got back into his truck, and waved goodbye. While the nuns were carefully pouring the precious fluid into their gas tank, a cop happened by. He stopped and watched them for a few moments and then said, "Sisters, somehow I don't think that's going to work, but I sure do admire your faith." In this class, we'll be drawing upon one of my favorite prosperity books, and I've had this for so long, it's pretty worn and ratty, but I keep reading it. And it's called The Wells of Abundance by E.V. Ingraham. And it's got a whole chapter on the law of attraction. And he has us play with magnets in it, because he's talking about spiritual laws are invisible. And he said, here's proof. Get a magnet and put something that's metal, iron, or steel, that the magnet will attract, and then just very gradually move one of those horseshoe magnets toward it, and all of a sudden it'll jump. Invisible. The forces are invisible. And so are the forces behind tithing. But it's a principle that works. It's the law of circulation, and it really depends a lot on faith. And I'm just going to read a short section from the book here. The more necessary any element is to the sustaining of life, the more there is of it, the easier it is to contact, and the more impossible it is for anyone to separate you from it or charge you anything for it. Take the following elements and consider how relatively important they are in sustaining life, how they are increasingly available as they increase in importance. Shelter, clothing, food, water, air, consciousness, hope, aspiration, and finally that mysterious something which is the very essence of life itself. That which increases hope and the realization of more abundant life would be the most essential element of supply. Faith, prayer, meditation, communion with the presence and power of God would be the most effective means of appropriating this inner supply. And so we're going to take a look at how this principle works, and everyone who attends the workshop will get this booklet that I wrote called Once Upon a Tithe, the second edition that Lori underwrote the publication of. Lori Richardson, thank you. I know you're here. There she is. Thank you, Lori. And it's illustrated by my daughter, who's a professional artist. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to learn something and take it away, and your faith will be increased. I guarantee it. If not, your money will not be returned. Go to the church. It's $10. And there's a sign-up sheet over here on the table. Hope to see you Saturday.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, and then I think we have our next slide here. We are looking for media people, so if you are interested in that or have special skills that can help us with that, we're looking specifically for submitting press releases as well as special projects and selling things on Craigslist and eBay. So if you are interested in that, please talk to Reverend Angelica. Also, as you know, we've mentioned a couple times, SOAR at Asilomar. SOAR is coming back to Asilomar. This is our Centers for Spiritual Living convention, so people from all over the U.S. and sometimes even the world can come and join us at Asilomar. Asilomar is a place that Ernest Holmes, our founder, often spoke at, so it is a little bit of sacred ground as well, and always a great time when we go to Asilomar. Next is our bookstore special. That's a tongue twister for this month. All Joel Goldsmith books are 20% off. Also, please keep in mind the little pantry. This is such a great way that we continue to support our community. There is someone here in the office Mondays from noon to 4 to receive food, or you can bring it in on Sundays. We're looking for things such as baby food, pop-top cans, so cans that don't require opening with a can opener, and shelf-stable milks and juices. Our theme for this month is Speaking Truth, and we have a new chant today. So as we move into the contemplative portion of our service today, I'm going to teach you this new chant, and then I am also doing the contemplative reading. So we'll end the chant, and I can go right into that reading, and then Jackson will join me for a little music with a prayer and ending with music as well. So this new chant is called Source Expressing, and I believe there's a slide for that too as well, if you want to pull that up. There's two sections to it. One is the refrain, and the other are the short verses. And so I'll just sing the refrain and one of the verses, and then we'll start singing it together. And so the refrain goes, I am source expressing, I'm source expressing, I am source expressing, Om Shanti Om. And then the verses go, breathing in with me, breathing out in unity, breathing in with me, Om Shanti Om. And so let's go ahead and we'll start from the very beginning here, and we can do it all together. And so we'll start with that refrain. I am source expressing, I'm source expressing, I am source expressing, Om Shanti Om. Breathing in with me, breathing out in unity, breathing in with me, Om Shanti Om. I am source expressing, I'm source expressing, I am source expressing, Om Shanti Om. Filled with love and grace for the entire human race, filled with love and grace, Om Shanti Om. I am source expressing, I'm source expressing, I am source expressing, Om Shanti Om. God in all I see, God is all I want to be, God in all I see, Om Shanti Om. I am God expressing, I'm God expressing, I am God expressing, Om Shanti Om. From our founder, Ernest Holmes, change your thinking, change your life. The law of averages is the race belief recorded in subjective mind. It is the collective consciousness. Groups follow collective consciousness. Societies reflect collective consciousness. To assert our individuality is to rise above the law of averages into the more highly specialized use of the law, which brings freedom rather than bondage. Please take this into the sacred silence.
greatest thing in all my life is loving you. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. I want to love you more. I want to love you more. The greatest thing in all my life is
And so it is in this spirit of love that I speak a word for our service this morning, knowing that there is only one presence, one power. I call it love, divine, spirit, the infinite. And I know that it is all that there is, that it is love and beauty and joy. And what I know is true is that as we come together in this beautiful community, that we are a collective consciousness of good. That in this spirit of love and grace, that we up-level the vibration of the entire planet. And so I simply give thanks. I give thanks for every person who is here, every person who calls ECSL home. I give thanks for everyone in the room and online joining together to continue to uplift this world. Knowing that the good we do does not stop at our edges, at our walls, but continues to expand out until that vibration of love encircles the entire planet. And so I bless our music. I bless Reverend Angelica and her message today, and every hand that it took to put the service on, knowing that it is absolutely perfect. I call it good, and so very good, as I cast it forth into the law, knowing that Sweet Spirit has already said, yes, beloved ones, yes. And we affirm and know this together by saying together, and so it is.
the greatest thing in all my life is serving you. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you. I want to serve you more. I want to serve you more. The greatest thing in all my life is serving you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome up to the platform our spiritual director, Reverend Angelica.
Thank you. And thank you, Jackson and Karen, for the perfect way to start it out this morning. the my energy gets so amped when we can't connect to the internet and things aren't going right, you know, and it's like, okay, just let it go, it's fixed. So as you saw by our slide, our month is Speaking Truth. And this morning we're going to, well actually all this month we're going to be speaking truth to various freedoms. And today I have for you the being free from the collective unconscious. So I should have brought my whiteboard, whatever, in here, and I could have drawn you a picture so you could understand this better, but you'll get it anyway. So it could be said, actually, that our entire life's journey is about waking up. Waking up. In the Matrix, like Leo in the Matrix, we're born into a pre-existing dream, a collective agreement about life. And this dream is based on an idea about separation. Separation from the divine, mostly, but separation from each other, from the planet, from everything. And this separation then grows seeds of either good or bad, right or wrong, us or them, fear, judgment, and so on. And these seeds then create desire for control because we're afraid. So in the science of mind, our fundamental principle is oneness. And so we want to come back to that. That's what we're doing every Sunday morning and during our spiritual practices during the week, is remembering to come back to this idea of oneness, that all there is this divine energy that's moving constantly and becoming things. And it is supporting us, if we'll allow it to awaken from the dream. But you know what? This is not easy. It's a very challenging experience. Because as I say to myself, I'm ready to be on a higher level. The universe throws at me everything that I'm believing that keeps me from moving to a higher level. If I say, I want to be clear, I want to be more conscious, everything in my life shows up to show me where I'm not, so that I can heal it and move on. So this is not an easy journey. In fact, this journey is really about compassion. Compassion for yourself, compassion for each other. Ernest Holmes' statement in What We Believe from the 1927 Science Mind magazine reminds us, we believe the ultimate goal of life is to be in a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is surely to be attained by all. We believe in a complete emancipation from all forms of discord. So, of course, I have 3 ideas on how to do this. First of all, we want to recognize that life is a mirror. That what we see out here is a reflection of what's in our consciousness. And the interesting thing, I was just telling somebody the other day that I can be doing one talk, and yet the truth is I'm doing as many talks as there are people in the seats or online. So if there's 60 people listening, I've just given 60 talks, because everybody's going to take what applies to them. Everybody's going to relate to something in that talk, and then they'll build on that. You know, I'll never forget the day that I realized this. It was in the Hawaii church, and you know, I'm greeting people as they're leaving and stuff, and somebody came up to me and they said, wow, that talk you did on forgiveness was so powerful this morning. And I'm thinking to myself, forgiveness? Did I ever mention forgiveness? And I thought, oh my goodness, it's true. we take in what we need. We take in what we need. So we want to recognize that life is a mirror, and that also recognize that we're not perceiving the mirror really clearly, like we just Windexed it, right? We're looking through our filters at this mirror. And our minds are constantly commenting on life. Have you ever noticed that? You've got this constant voice that's narrating everything that you do. I'll challenge you to notice that, because there is rarely ever a time when you're not thinking about something. That's, to me, why meditation is so important. So Tony Robbins, you all know who Tony Robbins is, don't you? A motivational speaker, does a lot of workshops. He was once asked if it was hard to hypnotize people into a trance state. He replied, "No, the difficulty was waking them up from the trance state that they're already in." So this is our journey then, to wake up, to begin to really experience reality with the capital R, that divine reality. And we have to realize that before we can change the world out there, we have to change the world in here. So if we're going to be free from the collective unconscious, now here's where I wish I had my board, and I'm going to share this with you. Those of you who have done foundational classes have seen this little thing already. But I see, just imagine that I've drawn a big circle on this board. And all around the outer edges, this I'm going to say is mind. There's only one mind. That mind is God's mind. That mind is the mind that I'm using, right? So this is this one mind. And all around the edges of this circle, I'm going to scribble. I'm going to make it look funny. Circles, whatever. Make it look real convoluted all around the outer edges. This, to me, is the collective consciousness or the collective unconsciousness. And a lot of us are living in that area. None of us, of course, but, a lot of people are living in that area. And there's things in that circle that we need to remember that are there. And while we're remembering it, I figured this out last night. When humans first realized that they could think, and who knows how that happened, but they developed certain beliefs. And those beliefs have come along with the evolution of humanity up into today. And so here's one. In my imagination, I saw that cave people saw everything as a possible attacker. It was eat or be eaten, right? They believed that it wasn't safe to go into certain areas. Over there is where the lions live, right? They also believed that nobody could be trusted because they would capture something, some food, and somebody else wanted it, so they'd steal it. So there's just a few ideas that I think are really basic to our nature, and those are in that scribbled area of the mind. Then as we evolved, I started thinking, well, what are some that we have now? One is you need a college education in order to get a good job. One is you have to be slim and trim to attract anybody. One is you have to work really hard to be of value. Another is money equals power. And another one is play is a privilege. It seems people tend to put all their playtime for that 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is that they have vacation. The rest of the time you have to work really hard. So all of those beliefs are in that scribbled area around the edges. Now, if there's another circle that's right in the middle, And I put a big G in that circle. So, because I call that God or divine mind or first cause or whatever it is that you use for the word to describe the undescribable. And so that's where we're going. Our job is to move from the scribbled area into that center area. Now, in between the centered area and the scribbled area, there's the area where we really start doing our work. That's where most of us are now. So in the scribbled area, it's about fear. I don't have any power. I'm a nothing. In the centered area, or in the middle area, we start believing, oh, this is what we're learning here. I do have some power. In that scribbled area, the idea is the two bottom lines that I've heard in my years in the ministry is I don't deserve love or life is not safe. So those are in there. And so we have this method of operation, two of them actually. One is trying to control life, and one is trying to get it right so we feel deserving of love. And this is where we're moving into this middle area. And maybe we use, here's my journey. I moved from that I'm undeservable, I'm, not worthy of love, etc., into the middle area through through Wicca, actually, through learning about my personal power, learning about how a collective group of people could have more power, etc. And then I learned it through the power of positive thinking. And then I found religious science, or the science of mind, and started learning about it through there. And we're all moving through that middle area because where we want to be is in the God center. We really want to recognize that who we are is something much more majestic, much more magical, much more powerful, much more present than anything we possibly could have imagined. So in order to get to this place, this inner circle, we have to do inner work. And sometimes the inner work is easy and sometimes it's really difficult. It's really difficult when we think we've done it all already, and then we get, the universe slaps us upside the head and goes, oh yeah, what about this? I've mentioned this one particular thing before, but I'm going to mention it again. I can remember thinking, I am so spiritual. I am so up there. I've just done all this work. This is wonderful. I'm great. And I'm driving to Palm Springs to go to a conference, a religious science conference with somebody, and they start talking about their mother. And my jaw starts getting really tight. And my butt muscles start getting really tight. And I realize that I've got more to do. One of the tools that I've used to move into this higher place, this place of recognizing the presence of the divine and recognizing that I'm that too, is meditation. And meditation takes you to a place of deep listening. At first, when you start meditation, your mind just goes, why am I sitting here? I could be doing this, I could be doing that. It starts taking you down all these other places, or it tells you about something that you need to talk about. Have you ever realized that what the mind basically remembers is the negative stuff? And you just keep breathing. You just keep breathing. You just keep breathing into it. Because real, deep meditation quiets the mind long enough for us to feel the presence. My experience of that, which I've mentioned in classes and things before, is going to a meditation class at the Glendale Church of Religious Science down south. And there was a minister from Florida there, Dr. Bell Tolliver, who was doing a meditation class, an all-day long meditation class, that I really had to struggle to get there because all day long meditation, oh my God. You know, I mean, it just didn't sound right to me. But he managed to give us all these different types of meditation. And the last one that he did made me I was so deep into it that I suddenly couldn't feel any parts of my body at all. I felt like I was one with everything. It was such an amazing experience. And when he brought us out of that, it was kind of disappointing because all of a sudden I'm back in the dualistic world again. And I thought, oh, I want to be able to do that again. You know, I went out to my car to get into my car, and there was a hummingbird there. And this hummingbird just flittered his little wings or her little wings and was just hanging out right in front of me. And I'm staring. I mean, normally a hummingbird go pew, and they disappear. This one did not. And I realized, oh my God, it's because I got in touch with the presence within me where I recognized the oneness, and this hummingbird feels it. And finally, it seemed like it had been a really long time, and I had to leave. And so I went to open my car, and of course, the hummingbird flew away. And I got in, and I sat down, and just before I turned the key in the lock, the hummingbird was right outside the front window. And I realized, just accept it. Just let this be. I later found out that in the native tradition, the hummingbird stands for joy. And it made me feel so good because this joy, you know, I had gotten to this place in meditation, which then manifested itself as a symbol of joy in my life. And I thought, that's it. I'm going to be doing meditation. Did I consciously do it every single day like I decided to? No. It's like going to the gym, right? Oh boy, I'm going to the gym. I paid all this money. I'm going to do all this exercise. Week 1, week 2, week 3. I don't think I'm going to go to the gym this morning. I'll just miss this day and this day and this day until finally you go, wait a minute. I'm paying for this thing. I got to go. You know how it is. So the first idea I had for moving into this place is to do deep meditation. The second idea I had is practicing the presence of the divine. And those of you who follow me on Facebook noticed that I put something that somebody else posted yesterday where they had all these neat little pictures, but they talked about glimmers. And glimmers to me are that conscious awareness of the presence of the divine. Glimmers are when that, well, I also posted a real short little video of redwoods breathing. I mean, I went to do a dog job up at the top of, it's in an area called Sitka Springs off of Elk River Road, way up high. And I came out of the garage where I'd been feeding the dogs, and I'm looking at these trees, and their leaves are not going like this in the wind, their limbs, they're going like this. Up and down, up and down. And I thought, oh my God, they're breathing. And I felt like I was stoned. It was the weirdest thing. Well, I went to my car and I got my phone out so I could take a video of these trees, and they still look like they were breathing. My tree, the redwoods in my house, I live practically in a wind tunnel in Cutton, and they whoosh all around. You know, the wind whooshes and the trees are all going in one direction, basically, when the wind comes. But that was the first time I had really seen them go like this. And the funny thing was, there was only 3 of them doing it. To me, that was a glimmer of the presence of the divine. You know, the divine is in absolutely everything that there is, including you. So, in that scribbled area of the mind map that I drew, we've been hypnotized to believe certain things. And we've let those beliefs carry us, humanity, through generations. Right now, there's a lot of beliefs that we've had before that were rectified, and then there's one faction that wants to go back before they were rectified. So all of this, to me, means we're moving into this greater expression of consciousness, not only individually, but as a country. Everything seems to fall apart before it gets better. So, if we're willing to become aware that we're hypnotized by the collective consciousness, we see that the most important task for ourselves right now is to wake up. To wake up. We can't deal with the world issues until we've dealt with our own issues. At least what we can do is thin the fog of misperceptions that surround us. We have to stop relating to the world as us versus them. Because in truth, even them are divine beings. Everything is divine. We're all living inside centuries-old dreams, so to speak. We've been hypnotized to live there. And as we move out of that old dream, we can begin to live together, united, and with more compassion, with a greater sense of understanding. And you know, it all comes down to that idea of love. That's what God is the energy of love. And that's what we want to open ourselves up to more and more and more, is this energy of love. So I have last week we talked about freedom, and Scott got to share his homework for class, which was his vision of what freedom was look like. And I invited you all to create a vision as well. What do you think living in peace and etc. would look like? Did anybody do it? Just like in school. I think these questions that I'm asking you, these things that I'm inviting you to do, are important. Of course, this is my job. My job is to help people wake up, starting with myself. So this week, what I want you to do is to look at where something that you absolutely knew was true, and then where you found out it really wasn't. I want you to look at where you've been hypnotized. And I want you to do meditation, or do whatever it is that works for you. You know, meditation does not mean that you have to sit in one place with your legs crossed in a funny way, etc. I have a prayer chair, which is one of the pieces of furniture that has moved with me every time I've moved, because it is my prayer chair. But I also do meditation walking. where I'm looking. In fact, I told myself yesterday after reading that thing about glimmers is that I'm going to watch for those glimmers in my walks, because the universe is absolutely willing to show off for us. We have to be open and ready to receive. So let's say our affirmation, and then we'll do some treatment. With faith and truth as my guideposts, I know I am free to play in the realm of unlimited possibilities. Yes. That's the only word that the divine knows. Yes. So I let that be my word as well today and every day. And I speak this word for us in the first person. I do that because I think it's going to make it easier for you to embody it. And so I declare, without a shadow of a doubt, that I know there is only this one life that is running through absolutely everything. There's only this one energy. This energy is God. This energy is who I am as well. All there is this divine energy. And so I celebrate this energy by allowing myself to believe in it, by allowing myself to know that as I look into my eyes in the mirror, what I see is divine. I allow myself to look in the faces of the people around me, knowing that I'm seeing the face of the divine. I allow myself to see this in my pets, my plants, everything that I consider animate or inanimate, I know is made of this one great energy, this energy of love. And so I celebrate that this week by looking for the glimmers of love that are constantly breaking through the fog of hypnotism that we've been living in, and allowing us to remember the truth of our being. There is only one life. That life is divine life. And that life is the life we are living right now. And all the gifts, all the pleasures, all the wonders of this life are ours just for the taking, for the asking, for the believing. And so we celebrate this. And I know for each one of us this week that as we move through our days, we have an experience of a glimmer or more, one or more glimmers. That we really get it, we feel it. Maybe the hairs on the back of our neck raise up because we know we're in the presence. We're absolutely in the presence, and it's showing off for us delightfully. And how grateful we are for this. How grateful we are for this teaching that says all there is God, and it's done unto us as we believe. How grateful we are for knowing that as we embody this teaching more and more, that our lives become more beautiful, more delightful, more fun. And so we celebrate ourselves and this spiritual path that we're walking, knowing that it is an amazing path. And we're grateful for it. So grateful. And I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already so, and so it is. Jeff Smollett is our musician this morning, so let's give him a hand.
Well, I bumped into Edward at a local music store, as
It's kind of like two vegetarians seeing each other in McDonald's. You know, what are you doing here? And he says, oh, he's showing me something new he got. He's not here, I'm sure he's watching. He says, Jeff, I'd like you to play some more classical guitar. And then my friend Doug, partners in crime for 25 years in music, says, well, you need to play more originals. So here's an original in classical style. Don't clap yet, you might not like it. This is called Capitola. My wife grew up in Capitola. It was then a little kind of a fishing village. Now it's a lot of tourism. It has a heritage.
Thank you, Jeff. That was beautiful. And thank you, Reverend Angelica, for that beautiful talk. Yeah. We're definitely very blessed. And now we have the opportunity to collectively lean into that law of circulation as we talk about our offering. And so if you want to bring up the affirmation for us, I just invite you to bring whatever is yours to give today, whether that is a gift of financial good, whether you're holding an Ernie Buck because you're doing that online or you're part of our online community and we'll hit the Donate Now button after we affirm together, or you're holding an affirmation or just some good vibes this morning. Just bring that to your heart as we say this together. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this sinner, all in it and beyond. And so it is. And so we gratefully receive every gift that has been given, knowing that it is pressed down and transformed into that energy of circulation, that it is in this energy of good, this energy of love, that every gift is placed in its place that it does the highest work, whether that is in supporting the sinner or supporting the community that we live in. So grateful for it all. We just call it good and so very good. And so it is. And now we get to do our community statement of inclusion. Who would like to come up and read this today? Anyone? Anyone? I don't see anyone. Please, come on up. Thank you.
See how well I can read it. Is it up there too?
It is. It's
Maybe
both places.
better.
Whichever one's easier for you.
We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique animation of God and that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees the sacredness in all of life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. We know our community is to move forward to love each other well. Thank you.
All right, and now we get to stand if you would like to sing our community song, which is All the Colors of the Rainbow. And Donna, do you want to come up and lead us in that?
Written by Les Craig.
It was.
It's been a day of everyone showing their creativity because Karen wrote the chant that we sang.
Yep.
And Jeff wrote the music that he played, and Les wrote the song we're going to sing now. So yay!